Now, you guys have been begging me for an in-depth Amazon ads video for KDP. So I took over an hour's worth of Amazon ads lessons from my channel based on the results that I gave publishers that watched it. So the videos that got the most amount of comments from people that actually applied what they learned from the video and they got results, those videos, that's what's in this video. So it's the most valuable Amazon ads videos on my channel. And I took 4 of them and put them in this video because it's actually kind of difficult to find some videos on my channel. So I apologize about that, but I put the 4 most valuable Amazon ads ones for you in this video. So what are we going to talk about in this video? Well, we're literally going to talk about everything that you need to know. So we're going to talk about ACOS, bidding strategies. Are you going to use fixed bids, down only? How everything works, how to budget. We're also going to be talking about campaign structures, low-cost strategies, how to read the data, how to optimize your ads, basically everything you need to know to actually run profitable ads. But anyway, before you start this video, there's something that's very, very important. You need to know this before you start this video. This video is not for everyone. It's really not for everyone. If you're the type of publisher that's going to watch a video, skim through it, and then just move on to the next video and don't apply anything to your business, so that you don't fix anything, you don't test out anything, if that's you, then please do not watch this video. Just click off the video because, I mean, at the end of the day, you're just going to waste an hour anyway. Because this is an hour-long video, like an hour and 20 minutes or something. So instead of you just wasting an hour and not applying anything, just don't watch it at all. It's okay. I'm not going to feel bad. It's completely fine. It's not made for you. But if you are the type of publisher that's going to watch the video, you don't have to skim through it. You literally absorb all the information because your attention span actually allows you to absorb information. If that's you and you're serious about your business, you're serious about actually starting the business and scaling your books, if you're serious, then you'll go through the video and actually apply it. Now, if you are going to apply these things, this video is for you. But anyway, enough rambling. Let's actually get started with the video. Enjoy.
I'm going to show you how your ACOS is actually destroying your book on KDP. And by the end of it, I'm actually going to show you proof as well. Now, I know what you're at.
Oh, actually, one more thing before you start. Leave a comment down below. As soon as you apply these things to your business, leave a comment and let us know your results. And I reply to every single comment. So if you comment, I will reply to you and I will see it. But anyway, let's get on with the video.
Asking, Barry, my ACOS is really, really high. Is this video going to help me with that? Of course it is. Another question you might be asking, Barry, my ACOS is really, really low, but I'm not getting a lot of sales because of it. Is this video going to help me? Of course it is. Because if you have a problem with your ACOS, that means you don't understand what ACOS actually is. And a lot of people on YouTube are teaching ACOS completely wrong. Now, who am I to say that other people are teaching it wrong? Well, I spent thousands of dollars on ads. I've wasted thousands of dollars. But the good thing is I've learned a bunch of lessons by spending those thousands of dollars on Amazon KDP ads. And one of the lessons I learned was I was looking at ACOS completely wrong. And most publishers, especially new publishers, are looking at ACOS completely wrong. But it's okay because I'm here to show you how to look at ACOS in the right way. So how do we figure out what ACOS is? Well, the first thing we need to figure out is our revenue. This is our revenue. This means how many sales or how much money in sales have we made. This is $0, and then let's say this is $1,000. Your ACOS is the amount of money that you spend compared to your revenue. So this is your revenue, not your profit, not your royalties, your revenue. This means how much money in sales you've made. If your book is priced at $10 and you made 100 sales, then you made $1,000 in revenue. Is that correct? That's correct. That's your revenue. So if we made $1,000 in revenue and we've spent $500 in ads, so this is ad spend and it's $500, then our ACOS is 50% because we've spent half the money that we made in revenue. That's what ACOS is. If you spent $1,000 and you made $1,000 in revenue back, then your ACOS is 100% because you spent the exact amount that you've made back in revenue. Now, if your ACOS is above 100%, that means you've spent more money in ads than you got back in revenue. That's all your ACOS is. It's the percentage of money that you spend on ads compared to your revenue. Not your profit, not your royalties, only your revenue. Now, when I first started out, I thought that ACOS had to be break even. This was such bad advice. And I'll tell you why right now. So let's actually calculate a break-even ACOS. How do we do that? How do we calculate the break-even ACOS? Very, very simple. Step 1, your price. What is the price of your book? Let's say the price of our book is $16. Great. Step 1 complete. Step 2, what is your profit for every sale that you make? So 16 is the revenue that you make if you sell the book. Can't spell revenue. But then out of this price, you're going to get a specific royalty. Let's say our royalty is $5.60. So for every sale that we make $16 in revenue, but $5.60 in profit. Now, to calculate your break-even ACOS, you need to figure out what's the percentage of 16 that makes up $5.60. Actually, there's a better way to say that. If we take 16, what percent of 16 is $5.60? Well, that's actually 35%. So we make 35% in royalty based on our price. 35% of 16 is 560, which is our profit. So this is our break-even ACOS, which basically says if we make $16 in revenue and we spend 35% of that money in ads, then we're breaking even. We can spend 560 to make back 560. That's a break-even ACOS. Now, the mistake most publishers make, and the mistake that I made as well, is thinking that this is my target ACOS. Every single thing I must do is to get to a 35% ACOS. I can't become profitable unless I reach a 35% ACOS. That's a complete lie, because focusing on your break-even ACOS actually limits your ability to grow. It limits your ability to make a bunch of money. You can make a little bit of money, no problem, but you can't make a bunch of money if you're focused on break-even ACOS, especially at the start of your book. If you're launching your book, ACOS doesn't even matter. You're launching your book. So focusing on ACOS and your break-even ACOS especially is like having a Ferrari, but you have the handbrake on. You have the potential to make a bunch of sales, just like you have the potential to go 200 kilometers an hour, but you have the handbrake on. You're not gonna go 200 kilometers an hour with the handbrake on. It doesn't matter if you have a Bugatti, if you have a Ferrari, a Lambo, doesn't matter. You have the handbrake on. Just like here, you're focusing on your break-even ACOS, which is going to limit your growth. Because here's how I expected things to work, and here's how most of you guys expect your Amazon ads to work. Now, with Amazon KDP, we have PPC and we have organic. These are sales. So PPC, that's pay-per-click. That's what you pay to make a sale. That's your Amazon ads. Now, you think you have PPC and then you have your book. This is your book. So you can either pay and then make a sale and you make some money. And then you have organic, which is free. So then what you think you should do is that you think you should break even on your PPC. So whatever you spend, you make back on your PPC. And then whatever you make organic will be your actual profit. So in other words, if you spend this much on ads, you want to make this much in ads back, and then you want to make this much in total sales, which means all of these are your break-even ads, and only this part here is your organic, your actual profit. I don't know if this makes sense. It makes sense in my mind. I don't know if it will make sense in your mind. So this is how much I spent on ads. This is how much I made back from ads. This is how much I made in total sales. But this portion here is from the ads, and only this small portion is organic. So I'm spending all of this to make this in actual profit. This is how much money I'm actually getting back. Because all of this money, I spent it on ads anyway. Now, this is not how Amazon works. This is not what you should be focused on. These two are not actually separate. Your PPC is not separate from your organic. In fact, your PPC works together with your organic, and then they use both their energies, both their powers to grow your book. So because they work together, whatever you do over here will affect over here, and whatever you do over here will affect over here. These are one. They're not separate. They're one. It's as if they're married. This is the husband, this is the wife. They are married. They work together. They are one. So you can't treat them as separate when they're one. Now here's the thing. The more this goes up, the more this goes up. The more this goes down, the more this goes down. It's so simple. But what does this actually mean? Because it's so easy for me to sit here and just say random words and not show you what it actually means. Here's what it means. If you focus on break even from your ads, then let's say this is how much you spent on ads and this is how much you made back. So these two are basically the same. Let's say this is $500 and this is $500. So you spend $500 on ads, you made $500 on ads, and then you also have your organic. And this is how much you made organically. Let's say $200. So you spent $1,000 to make $200 back. This is because you try to break even with your ads. This is because you were focused on your ACOS. You wanted to have a break-even ACOS. But here's the thing. Let's say we spent way more on ads. So let's say we spent $700 on ads and we only made back $300. That means that, first of all, our ACOS is not going to be break-even because we're actually losing money from ads. Actually, to make it more simple, let's just say we made back $500. So we lost $200 on ads. Because we spent more on PPC and obviously spending it in the correct places. I'm not saying to run random PPC campaigns. This is using my phase 1, 2, and 3 strategy. If we spend $700 but only made $500 back, if we spend the money in the correct place, what's going to happen is we're not going to make $200 off organic. We can make $500 off organic. Why? Because these two work together. Just like we said, PPC and organic work together. So because we spent on the PPC, it increased our organic ranking. And now we lost $200 from ads. So we're minus $200, but we made $500, which means we actually made $300 profit. So over here, we broke even with our ads and made $200 profit. Over here, we did not break even with our ads, but we made more profit. Now, I know this is hypothetical, but I'm going to show you proof at the end of it. Now, what Stephen Pope discovered, if you don't know who Stephen Pope is, he's the founder of My Amazon Guy. What Stephen Pope discovered is that for every one PPC sale that you make, it will bring you anywhere from 2 to 3 organic sales in the next 6 months. So you might get a PPC sale this month, and then next month you might get 2 organic sales because you got this sale over here. Because like I said, PPC and organic work together. They are one. They help each other. However you affect one, you will affect the other. If you treat them as separate entities, it's going to be very difficult for you to grow your book. So you can actually make more money organically, more actual profit by allowing your ACOS to be a little bit higher than break even. Because your ads, it's okay if you don't break even in your ads. I'm going to show you why right now. You don't want to be focusing on ACOS. You want to be focusing on TACOS or TACOS, however you want to say it. I'm going to say TACOS. TACOS sounds good. This is your total ACOS. I'm going to call it total ACOS. This is your total ACOS. What does this mean? ACOS means revenue compared to spend. What total ACOS means is royalties compared to spend. Not revenue, royalties. Now, why is this more accurate? Because royalties is the money that you're actually making. It's not revenue numbers. It's not money that's not yours. It's not Amazon's money. Royalties is your money, your actual profit that you're making, your actual money that you're getting in your bank account. So you want to compare the amount of money that you spent on ads compared to the amount of money that you actually made back. Not revenue. So if you made $2,000 this month in royalties and spent 1,000 on ads, then you have a 50% TACOS, total ACOS, which basically means you spent half your royalties on ads to actually make those royalties. You spent 1,000, you made 2,000, you kept 1,000 for yourself. This is your actual profit. This is a more accurate number to look at. Total ACOS, way more accurate than ACOS, because you're actually looking at your numbers. Now here's the thing, by actually looking at your total ACOS, not just your ACOS, you're not trying to break even. You're trying to see your business overall as a whole. Because by trying to break even with your ACOS, you're only focusing on the PPC. So if your book is growing this much because you're focusing on break-even ACOS and you get this many organic orders, by focusing on your PPC as a whole, because you understand that PPC and organic work together and ACOS doesn't matter when you're growing your book, your total ACOS is what matters, then what you can do is you can allow yourself to either spend more or spend in better places, regardless of the ACOS. You can have a 35% ACOS here, and you can have a 50% ACOS here, and you will make more money because you will make more organic sales. Now, organic sales is your actual money. Even if you lose only on the PPC, you're making more organically, which is where your profit is. Organic is where your profit is. You want to be looking at your business as a whole. Now, here's the problem. What if your actual ACOS, not your total ACOS, your PPC ACOS, what if that's really high? What if you have 100% ACOS, 120% ACOS, or 150% ACOS? In fact, I've seen people get 200% ACOS. What does this mean? Why is it so high? Well, there's a law of the universe that says for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. What does this mean? That means if I do one thing, another thing will happen because I did that one thing, but it will be opposite. That doesn't make any sense. That wasn't a good example. So let me actually show you in KDP terms what this means. That means if your ACOS is high, then there must be something else that's really low that affects your ACOS, because this is an equal and opposite reaction. So if your ACOS is super high, what is the thing that's really, really low that's giving you a high ACOS? Well, there's only one thing. That's your conversion rate. Let me show you exactly what I mean. We're going to pretend we're running ads. We got 10 clicks. Each one of those clicks cost us 50 cents. This is our cost per click. Now, our book has a 10% conversion rate, which means if we got 10 clicks at a 10% conversion rate, we made one sale. Now, how much do we make per sale? Let's say we make $5 for every sale. Well, we gathered 10 clicks, spent 50 cents per click, which means we spent $5. At a 10% conversion rate, 10 clicks, we got a sale, we made $5, which means we now have a 100% ACOS because we spent $5 to make $5. We spent 100% of our money to make the money back. What happens if we change our conversion rate to 20%? So we increased our conversion rate. Well, there is an equal and opposite reaction. We increased our conversion rate, which means our ACOS should drop. So with 10 clicks, we spent $5. Again, we spent $5 to get 10 clicks, but this time we did not get one sale because 20% of 10 is 2. We got 2 sales. 2 sales, $5 each, we make $10. Now, if we spent 5 and we made 10, 5 is half of 10, which is 50%, which is exactly how much our ACOS is going to be. So now, because we increased our conversion rate, we lowered our ACOS, 50% ACOS, because there's an equal and opposite reaction. ACOS and conversion rate work together, just like PPC and organic work together. You must look at your business as a whole. Your ads are not separate from your organic. There's a lot of people that come to me and say, is there a way to make money with KDP and not run ads? And my response is, why would you not want to run ads? Would you want to buy a Ferrari with no wheels? What is the point? Just to have it in your garage with no wheels. It doesn't make any sense. Ads are a fundamental process of a business. You are running a business. I have never heard of anyone starting a business and not want to run ads. If I'm starting a car washing business, obviously I want to advertise my car washing business because more people will come in and actually buy from me. If I open a coffee shop, obviously I want to advertise my coffee shop, because I will make more sales. More people would come in. If I have a restaurant, obviously I want to advertise. No matter what business I have, I want to advertise my business. So I don't understand why people want to start a book publishing business and not want to advertise their books. Because you don't have money. I understand. I understand that some people don't have money. But Amazon ads is one of the most fundamental things you need to understand. You must run ads if you actually want to make some money on KDP. If you don't have money, save money and then publish your book. And also, if you don't have money, spend some time learning. This is your opportunity to learn since you don't have money. Now, it sounds all fun when I'm telling you don't focus on ACOS and all of that, but let me actually show you how my book performed because I wasn't focused on ACOS. So when it comes to advertising, what I teach is I teach phase 1, 2, and 3. Each phase has a different step. Phase 1 is your launch. What does this mean? This means you just launch your book, try and get as many sales as possible so you can position your book in the right place on Amazon. That's the launch phase. Then I show you how to scale your book. I'm not going to go into each phase in this video, but I show you how to scale your book. So now that you launch your book and you're in the correct place, the scaling phase will help you get way more sales in your niche so you can become an authority figure, so you can become the go-to book, so you can make way more sales than in the launch. And then finally, in phase 3, this is your optimization phase. This is when you scale things down and only focus on the core fundamental parts of advertising that's actually going to get you the highest return on your investment. That's where we optimize. In the optimization phase, which is usually in month 3 to 4, this is when we focus on ACOS. In month 1 and 2, I don't even look at ACOS. I do not care about the ACOS. I care about everything else. I care about my impressions and my click-through rate and my SEO and my conversion rate, but I do not care about the ACOS. The ACOS is not going to help me grow. Now, if you're a G like me and you know the system for publishing, or if you're in the profitable publisher system and you know the system for publishing, that's my program where I show you everything, then you'll be able to reach the optimization phase before anyone else. And that's exactly what I did. So with my book, I actually reached the scaling phase way too early because my book was performing so well. And here are the results. During the launch of my book, the launch month, that was July, I had a 66.95% ACOS. Not total ACOS. This was my ACOS for the first month. Now what that gave me is 330 ad sales. So these are sales that are made from ads, and 488 total sales. So if we do some maths, all we have to do is do 488 minus 330, and we can figure out our organic sales, which is 158. That's my organic sales. This is for the month of July. Now, right now it's August, and I only have data until August 15th. So I only have 15 days worth of data. This right here is 30 days worth of data, and what I want to tell you is 15 days worth of data. So what we can do is actually double it and just predict where it's going to be. It's going to be super rough, but you're going to see the difference. So for now, this month, can you guess what my ACOS is? This is the second month of running the book. My ACOS is 67%, which is exactly the same as before. My ACOS did not change. Even though people might say your ACOS should have went down. Normally, if you go talk to any other KDP guru, expert or whatever on YouTube, they're going to tell you your ACOS should drop. But here's the thing. Even though my ACOS did not drop, it stayed exactly the same. Here's the amount of orders that I got. I got 157 ad orders. That's in the 15 days. So if we assume that in 30 days, it continues its trajectory, which is very, very steady out. It seems like it's going the correct way. If we double it, we'll just say 300, just to be conservative. So I got 300 ad orders, less than the day before, less than the month before, or basically roughly the same. 30 sales is nothing. Now, what about total? My total is 338. Now, if we double 338 so we can see what the final result is going to be for the month of July, then that's 676, I think. Yeah, that's 676. So if we minus this, 676 minus 300, we would have around 300 organic sales. So look at what happened now. We have the same exact ACOS as last month, 67%, 66.9, 67%. We have the exact same number of ad sales. Can you see this? 300. If we actually double this, it's 314. But look at what happened at our organic. So organic is 158, but over here, organic is 300. So the ACOS stayed the same. The ad sales stayed the same, but the organic doubled. Guess what that means? If my organic doubled and everything else stayed the same, I doubled my profit from last month. Why did I double my profit? Because I wasn't focused on ACOS. I was focused on all the other fundamental things. I was focused on conversion rate. I was focused on click-through rate. I was focused on my SEO, the correct keywords, the correct campaign structure. I was focused on my phase 1 and scaling to phase 2. I was focused on everything before. ACOS, I wasn't even looking at it. And it stayed the same. My ads stayed the same, but my organic boosted, which means I make money. Now, in month 1, I lost money here because obviously I made way more sales with ads than I did organically. So the first month I lost money, which is completely normal. You're launching your book. You're launching a business. You're launching an asset. So I lost a little bit of money launching my book. And now I'm transitioning to phase 2. And my book is already profitable in the second month of launch. And you can see why. Because I was focused on the business as a whole, PPC and organic together. I wasn't separating them. I wasn't focused on ACOS and how to minimize the amount of money I spend. I'm focusing on how can I grow my book as fast as possible, as best as possible, so I can make the most amount of money as possible. Now, I barely did any optimizations over here. I didn't decrease my bids. I barely did anything. I don't even remember the last time I went in my adverts to optimize anything. Now, what most people are going to teach you is to lower your bids, and lower your bids, and lower your bids, and spend as little as possible on your ads. But if you spend as little as possible on your ads, you're growing as little as possible as well, organically. If you just let your ads do the thing, just let them do their work, especially if you actually know what you're doing, then these are the results that you can expect. You can expect organically to grow extremely quickly as well, especially if you do it correctly. That's why I don't focus on ACOS. I focus on conversion rate and I focus on click-through rate. Those two alone are 10 times more important than ACOS. ACOS is important afterwards. ACOS is important when your book listing is already mature. ACOS is important when you're already making a bunch of sales and you just want to optimize your ads. Then you can start scaling down because your organic is taking over. That's when ACOS is important. But if you launch your book 1 month ago or 2 months ago and then you're trying to get break-even ACOS, your book is going to be very hard to grow because you're basically planting a seed, you're watering it, and you want to get the apples from the apple tree before the apple tree even sprouted. Doesn't make any sense. By focusing on ACOS, especially at the start, you're destroying your chance of success. You're destroying your book's growth. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. Go out there and make a bunch of money. If you can read what this whiteboard says, then you know exactly what this video is going to be about. I'm going to show you the most effective low-cost ad strategy for KDP. Now, it's not lottery campaigns. It's not 10-cent bids with 900% TOS. It's none of that. It's actually a lot simpler than that and a lot easier to implement. Now, I'm going to show you exactly how to launch these campaigns from start to finish. I'm not going to leave anything out. I'm going to show you absolutely everything. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to launch these campaigns. I want to show you how to find the keywords. I'm going to show you the campaign structures, the match types, the bidding strategies. I'm going to show you the budget. I'm going to show you the bids that you're supposed to put. I'm going to show you everything. By the end of this video, you will know exactly every single step you have to take to launch these campaigns. Now, why even listen to me? I'm just a random guy with a robe talking about KDP. Well, I've tested this campaign with me, with my clients, and a bunch of people in the community have been testing out these campaigns, and they've been working amazingly well. And because I know they work, I want to share them with you. So anyway, enough hyping it up. Let's actually talk about what you're supposed to do. So step 1, you want to figure out which keywords are you actually going to target. Obviously, if you understand how Amazon ads work, you understand that you need to put keywords. So how do you figure out these keywords? Well, it's very, very simple. Step 1, keywords. You have to ask yourself one simple question. Well, actually 2 questions. What and who? What do I mean by this? First of all, what is your book about? What is your book? Now, I'm going to give you 2 examples so I can make it super crystal clear. So what is your book? Let's say chair yoga. If you're selling a chair yoga book, that's what your book is. Your book is about chair yoga. Now, it's not enough just to put chair yoga. You need to figure out who is your book for. Is it chair yoga for dogs? Obviously not. Let's say it's chair yoga for seniors. So now you know it's chair yoga and you know who it's for. You know what your book is and who it's for. Chair yoga for seniors. So now you know exactly what keywords you want to target, because you want, this is the most important part, you want hyper-targeted keywords. Hyper-targeted, not relevant, not broad keywords. You want hyper-targeted. If I'm selling a chair yoga for seniors book and I target the keyword chair yoga for seniors, guess what? It's exactly what my book is. It's going to have a higher chance of that converting. So you want to pick hyper-targeted keywords. Okay, so apart from chair yoga, I'm going to put a cover that pops up now. You can see the cover. Look at what the book is. This is a raised bed gardening book. So guess what keywords we're going to put? What is our book? It's obviously a raised, can't even spell here, raised bed gardening book. But the most important part, who is it for? Well, is it for experienced people or is it for beginners? I'm going to guess that it's for beginners. So now that we know what our book is and who it's for, we know which keywords we're meant to be targeting. We know which keywords to find. So great. Now that we know which keywords to find, well, how do we actually find those keywords? I want to show you exactly how to do that now. First thing you want to do is not buy a software. You don't need any softwares to run these ad strategies. Don't go buy Helium 10. Don't go buy Publisher Rocket. You don't need any of them. It's completely free. Because here's what you want to do. You're going to go on Amazon. This is Amazon. And there's going to be a search bar right here. You know it's a search bar because of this magnifying glass. And you're going to type in here your main keyword. Let's say it's chair yoga for seniors. I'm going to type in chair yoga for seniors right here. And guess what's going to happen? Before I press enter, do not press enter. Before you press enter, Amazon's going to give you a bunch of other search terms, a bunch of other words related to what you typed in. Now, guess why these search terms are here? Guess why Amazon shows you these search terms? Because these search terms have traffic. If these search terms have traffic, that means people are searching for this. People are buying books because they clicked on this keyword. They clicked on this keyword, books popped up, they clicked on the book and they bought it. So guess what keywords you want to be targeting? You want to be targeting keywords with traffic. The more traffic you have, the more clicks you get. The more clicks you get, the more sales you can get. If you target a keyword with zero traffic, no one is looking at your book. So you need keywords with traffic. So now we know which keywords have traffic and we know which keywords we want to target, we want to find. So I'm going to type in chair yoga for seniors and a bunch of autocomplete searches are going to pop up. Now from these searches, I want to pick the most hyper relevant ones. So in this example, we have chair yoga for seniors. Then we also have chair yoga for seniors over 60. And we also have chair yoga for seniors over 70. Obviously, if our book is appropriate for over 70, we're going to target over 70. And we also have chair yoga for seniors book. A bunch of DVD options come up as well, but we don't want the DVDs because we're not selling DVDs. We're selling books. So we found 4 keywords just from the autocomplete. We know that these have traffic because they popped up, and we know that they're relevant to our book because we know what our book is and who it's for. Now, we found 4 keywords. Do we need any more than 4 keywords? Absolutely not. This is a low budget strategy. You're not trying to target hundreds of keywords. If you have a massive budget, go and target hundreds of keywords. That's okay. But with this strategy, we want to target very few keywords, but be very, very precise with the keywords that we want to target. That way, we're spending our money the most effective way possible, and it's going to give us the biggest return possible. Now, that's a chair yoga one. So we found our 4 hyper-targeted keywords based on what our book is and who it's for. Let's do the raised bed one as well, because that one might be different. So for raised bed, we have raised bed gardening for beginners book. We have raised bed gardening book. I'm not going to keep writing raised bed. If I do these lines, you know that is raised bed. We have raised bed gardening for beginners without the book. Is that going to make a difference? Well, we have to test it out and see. And then we just have raised bed gardening. So we found 4 keywords for raised bed as well. So if we're doing the chair yoga, these are the keywords we're targeting. If we're doing raised bed, these are the keywords that we're targeting. Now, there's sometimes you have variation keywords. So if you have a how to draw book, you might have how to draw blah, 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 animals or dinosaurs or monsters or whatever you're going to teach someone how to draw. And you might also have learn to draw. So that's a variation keyword. It's the same exact niche, same book, same everything. It's just 2 different ways of saying it. In that case, you want to just find the keywords that are most relevant to you. You can do separate campaigns for how to and separate campaigns for learn to in order to see which one works best. But for now, let's just stick with these 2 that we found. So great. Let's stick with the chair yoga one because it's a lot easier for me to write chair yoga than raised bed gardening. So let's say we figured out our 4 keywords. These are our 4 keywords. Now, what's step 2? Well, before I move on to step 2, there's a side note that I have to add. First of all, before you run this ad strategy, Your book has to be high quality, because if you're selling something that's really, really bad, no matter how many ads, how much traffic you bring onto your book, you're not going to make more sales. In fact, you're going to lose more money. If you have something good that people want to buy and you bring more people onto it, then more people would buy. If you have something bad that no one wants to buy, if you bring more people, you're just bringing more people that don't want to buy. I hope that makes sense. That's the absolute basic things you need to understand about this business. You need a high quality book. You need a good book first. If you have a high quality book, you have a good product. Now, it's not just enough to have a good product. I see that reviews play a big role as well. You need a high amount of reviews. Now, high reviews, this purely depends on your niche, because there's niches where everyone has 50 reviews, so if you have 40, you can still compete. There's niches where everyone has 2,000 reviews, so if you have 50, you can't compete. Now, I know a bunch of you are going to say, oh, but there's this one book that has 10 reviews and it's on 2,000 AB. Yeah, I know. There's loads of books like that. There's so many different reasons for that. But if you have a higher amount of reviews, then you have more chance of success. You have a higher conversion rate, your book sells more. Getting more reviews is never going to hurt your book. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say you will fail if you don't have 100 reviews. I'm just saying, if you have 10 reviews and the next month you have 100, you will make more sales when you have 100. If you don't change anything else and you just get more reviews, you will get more sales. And why is that? Because high reviews give you social proof. And if you have social proof, guess what you have? Trust. No one buys from anyone they don't trust. The only reason you're watching me right now and you're listening to me is because you trust that what I'm saying is true. You don't watch anyone on YouTube you don't trust. You don't buy products you don't trust. You don't do anything without trusting. You don't get married unless you trust the girl. Everything is based on trust, especially when people are trying to buy your book. If they don't trust your book, that it's going to give them the results. And how do they know if it's going to give them the results? Based on the reviews. If the reviews say this book is amazing, then people trust that your book is going to give them the same results and they're going to buy your book because of trust. So reviews equals trust. The more reviews, the more social proof, which means the more trust. I give you a book with 10 reviews and I give you a competitor with 10,000 reviews. You trust 10,000 more. It's very, very simple. Now there's a trust scale as well. So you're going to have 1 to 10 reviews. That's basically fairly low trust. It's not the most amazing thing. But then you can have 10 to 30 reviews, a little bit more trust. This is like level 1. Level 2 is 30 reviews. Once you pass 30 reviews, or around 30 to 60 reviews, at the 50 mark, you get a little bit more trust. Now, the point where your trust really skyrockets is when you reach 100 reviews. If you reach 100 reviews, your book is very trustworthy. Because for 100 people to leave a review, that means way more than 100 people bought it. And 100 people had a positive experience with your book, positive enough to leave a review, which means they trust your book. And then obviously you have thousands of reviews, which is basically almost impossible for you to fail. You have to really mess up. If you have 1,000 reviews and your book is not selling, you have to really mess up. Now, final side note, you have a high quality book, you have a high amount of reviews, you have a good book listing basically. But you also need to have a good niche. I have to say this because a bunch of people in the comments are going to be like, yeah, but it's not just the ad strategy. You have to have everything else. I understand. You have to have a good niche. If you don't know how to do niche research, I'll show you everything in the community if you're part of the community. If not, then you just have to figure it out by yourself on YouTube. You also have to have a good book cover, because if you don't have a good book cover, people are not clicking on your book. You can't sell anything to anyone unless they click on your book first. You need very high converting A+ content, because this is going to help you make a bunch of more sales. If you make more sales, your conversion rate is higher. And if your conversion rate is higher, your ranking gets higher. And if your ranking is high, you just make more sales anyway. It's just a big snowball effect of sales. Now, this is the conversion part. You also need good SEO, so Amazon knows what keywords to show you for. And a good description never hurts anyone. So if you have these things in place and it's all correct, if you're part of the Profitable Publisher 2.0 program, you know exactly how to do every single step correctly. If not, then you'll probably watch some YouTube videos. You might have joined another program. I don't know. But as long as you have these factors in place and they're correct and it's very effective, then you have a good enough book to start advertising. Now that the side note is over, let's actually get into the strategy. So you pick the correct keywords. By the way, you have a good book. I just explained what a good book is. Now, what's the third step? The third step is picking your match type. Can't even spell type. What's your match type? Well, you can have 3 match types. You can have broad, you're going to have phrase, and you're going to have exact. Now, here's the most common question I get, and you're probably asking this right now. Which one of these do you pick? Do you run those keywords in broad, in phrase, or in exact? Well, here's the most important thing. Don't be a psychic. What does that mean? Why would you try and guess which one's going to work most effectively? Test all 3 of these. If you're running ads for a book, you need to test in order to gather data. Remember, data. If you're running ads, data is the most important thing. If you run ads, test broad phrase, test phrase match, and test exact match. And then once you start running these 3 campaigns, you're going to gather data. And guess what the data is going to tell you? It's going to tell you broad phrase works really good. Phrase match doesn't work good. Exact match doesn't work good. Great, let me eliminate this and stick with broad. And guess what? Now your ads are very, very good. Or for someone else, broad might work good, phrase might work better than broad, and then exact match might be terrible. Guess what they're going to do? Because they gathered the data, they know the next step to take. Eliminate exact match, stick with these 2. For some of you guys, phrase match will work good, exact will work good, and broad won't work at all. It's all about testing. I'm not a psychic. I can't predict your book's success. You need the data in order for you to figure out what to do. So how do I test these 3? It's very simple. It all depends on your campaign structure. So you're going to launch one campaign. This is your campaign. Inside this campaign, you have your ad group. This is your ad group. And inside your ad group, you have 2 things. First of all is your product. This is your book. Only one format of your book. So this can either be your ebook or your paperback. Inside this ad group, not only are you going to have your product, you're going to have the 4 or 5 or 6 keywords that you found. In fact, the less, the better. You want to stay super, super targeted. So you're going to have your targets. Your targets are your keywords. So you're going to have 4 keywords. And in these targets, all these 4 keywords are going to be in exact match. Now, exact match is over. What are you going to do next? You're going to do the exact same thing. But this time, you're going to target everything in phrase match. Here you have your targets and then phrase match. And then once that's done, guess what you're going to do now? Exact same thing. Different campaign, different ad group, your product. Then you're going to have your targets, and then your targets are going to be in broad match. So now you have 3 separate campaigns with 3 separate match types, all 3 of them the same keywords. So that way, when you're spending money, your money is getting allocated correctly to all the targets, and then you can clearly see exact match works better, or phrase match works better, or broad match works better. Now you're separating the campaigns because then the money flows much better that way. So that's perfect. Now we know the campaign structure. What's the next step? The next step is your bidding strategy. Now, this is where a lot of people get it mixed up. There's a lot of YouTubers and a lot of like these KDP gurus or whatever. I don't know if I count as a guru, I guess I do, but anyway, there's a bunch of people teaching whatever used to work a long time ago. I tested other strategies and I find that those strategies are a lot more effective. But your bidding strategy, which bidding strategy are you going to use? Well, you have 3 options. You have up and down. I'm going to show you what these mean. Let me just draw everything and then I'll show you what everything means. You have down only, and then you have fixed bids. So what's up and down? Up and down basically means if Amazon thinks, this is Amazon by the way, search bar right here, and then a bunch of books are going to pop up here. Same thing here, search bar, a bunch of books are going to pop up, and same thing here. So up and down basically says, Amazon, here's my book, here's my bid, let's say it's $1, and Amazon can basically increase your bid by 100%, so make your $1 $2, if Amazon thinks that your book has a higher chance of it making a sale. So that means Amazon could show you here, but if Amazon thinks your book has a higher chance, it could show you here for a higher price, and if Amazon thinks your book has a lower chance of making a sale, it can show you down here. What about down only? Same thing, except it's only down, there's no up. So Amazon can show you here if you're bidding $1, but if it thinks that your book is not really going to convert for what someone searched up here, it's going to show you down here for a cheaper click. So here it might be $1 and here it might be 60 cents. But here's the thing, the lower you rank or the lower you show in the search results, the less chance someone will click on your book. That means you get less clicks. Obviously, if you're number 1, you're going to get way more clicks than if you're the last one in the search results. Now, yes, you're going to get a cheaper click, but you don't really want the cheapest clicks. You want the highest quality clicks. So what does fixed bids do? Fixed bids basically says, Amazon, this is exactly how much I'm willing to bet. You show me where this price that I'm giving you is appropriate for. So if this guy's bidding 160 and then my fixed bid is 150, I'm probably going to keep showing up under him here. If my bid is always on fixed bids, if my bid is always $2 and I'm always the highest person, then for those 4 keywords that we picked, I'm always going to be showing up number 1. So which one of these strategies sounds the best to you? A lot of people are going to say down only because it's the cheapest one, lowest cost, but that's not actually the one that you want to go for. The one that I go for is fixed bids because I have more control. This one, how does Amazon know if you're going to convert well for the keyword or not? It needs data. If it's a brand new book, you don't have any data. If it's a book that already has data, then great. This might work well for you. But if you're using these, you're basically giving Amazon all the power. If you're using fixed bids, you can be more accurate and you have the power, not Amazon. And you can make sure you're always the highest one. Because with fixed bids, I want to make sure I'm always on number 1. Now you can use some TOS strategies as well and placement modifiers, but I talk about that in the community. A bunch of people are finding success with it, but that's a little bit too advanced for YouTube. So I'm only going to be talking about that in the community. But your bidding strategies, I like to use fixed bids. So we're going to have one campaign exact match fixed bids, one campaign phrase match fixed bids, and then one campaign broad match fixed bids. Now, what about your bids? How much do you want your bids to be? Well, guess what? I want to be the highest bidder. Now, I know what you're asking. You're asking, well, Barry, this is a low-cost ad strategy. How am I going to be the highest bidder? Because if you're the highest bidder, that means you're getting the most amount of clicks. You're showing up for the keywords that you want. You only have 4 keywords. You're showing up number 1 for all 4 of your main keywords, hyper-targeted keywords. Those keywords are the ones that you're most likely to convert for because they're exactly what your book is about. So if your book is on the top of the page for the exact keyword that you're supposed to convert for and you're not getting sales, it means your book is really bad. But if you have a good book, then you being at the top and you being 100% relevant to the keyword that you're targeting is going to get you so many sales. It doesn't matter if you're bidding $150 or $160 or even $2. You can still become profitable because your sales are hyper targeted. Imagine every time you spend $150, every 2 clicks you get a sale because you're that targeted. That means you have to spend $3 to make a sale. Well, if you're making anything more than $3, you're profitable. I know what you're saying. Oh, it's impossible to get those clicks. It's impossible if you're broad, not impossible when you're super targeted. So personally, I like to bid anything from $1 to $150. If I see that it's working well, I keep increasing it. $180, $190, I just keep increasing it the more it works. But if you're scared, you can start at $1, but I would recommend $150 because that's usually enough to get you on the top of search. Now again, if you're using modifiers, you can play around with them and help you out, and you probably get a lower ACOS with modifiers, but that's way too advanced. I'm going to show you in another video. Now, bidding high might sound impossible to you, but I have 2 examples to show you. First of all is my example. If you look at my ads right now, I'll put a screenshot up. I can't remember exactly what it was, so I wrote it down here. So my results, I had a 181 cost per click. I showed you 150. I bid way high. I have a 181 cost per click. Now, a bunch of people are going to say, oh, that's way too high. But guess what? I have 42 clicks for this campaign and 15 orders out of 42% ACOS. Now, I know what you're saying. Oh, but how much is your book? What's the price of your book? Are you ready? This is the price of my book, $11.97. It's a medium content book. It's not even a high content book. If this was a high content book at $16.99, I would have been making so much more money. But I'm just trying to show you that this works for medium content books as well. Low content books, I have no idea. I don't do low content. I do medium and high content. But I have 42 clicks, 15 orders at 42% ACOS. My click-through rate is 118, over 1% click-through rate. The average on Amazon is 0.5. Now, my book has less than 100 reviews because I know a bunch of you are going to say maybe you have hundreds of reviews. My book has less than 100 reviews. Now, what's the conversion rate for this campaign? The conversion rate for this campaign is 35%. The average conversion rate on Amazon is 10%. But if you're super targeted, you find the correct keywords and you have a good book and you put the correct match type and you use the correct bidding strategy and you bid high enough, then you're basically giving Amazon permission to sell more of your books, which is going to give you a super high conversion rate. Obviously, if you're in the Profitable Publisher program, you know how to get 35% conversion rate because I show you everything from the start to finish. I'm not trying to sell you the program. I'm just saying, if you have the program, you know how to achieve these high conversion rates. If you don't, then you basically have to figure it out by yourself, which is fine if that's the road you want to go down. But I'm just showing you that this is possible. And it doesn't just work for me. I have a member in the community called Helen. She ran very similar ad strategies and she had a 29% conversion rate for her medium content book. She had 50 reviews and I made a whole video in the community talking about her ads, what she did wrong, what she did right. And she was able to achieve a 29% conversion rate with only 50 reviews. Her ABSR was under 10,000. She was making 30 sales a day with a medium content book because the ad strategies that we talk about in the community, it works, not just for me, not just for the clients, but for the members in the community as well. Now, here's one final thing. If you want to test this out with your book, here's what you need to do. Step 1, make sure your book is really good. Don't test this strategy out with a really bad book and then comment down below, this didn't work for me. If it didn't work for you, it's probably your book might not be that good because everything I talked about here is to ensure the highest quality traffic to your book. So if I'm showing you how to bring the highest quality traffic to a book and your book is not converting, your book is the problem, not the traffic. So step 1, have a really good book. Step 2, find hyper-targeted keywords. If you're selling a how to draw animal book for kids ages 8, you're not targeting how to draw. You're targeting how to draw animals, or how to draw animal book for kids, or how to draw animal book for kids ages 8. Hyper-targeted keywords. Make it almost impossible for you not to convert. Then test out all 3 match types, exact, broad, and phrase. Then make sure you use fixed bids. Make sure you bid high enough, and then let it run for 2 or 3 days. Now, if you're going to test out this strategy, comment down below, yes, I'm testing out this strategy, and then reply to your comment in 3 to 4 days and tell me your results. Tell me how many sales you got from this ad. But anyway, if you found this video helpful, click on this video that just popped up here. It's even more valuable than this one. I know what you're thinking, even more valuable than this one? Yes, the whole channel is valuable. Go click on any video you want. Any video, you're going to get value out of it. I promise. Anyway, I need another coffee and 2 red, but I dropped my marker. The reason your KDP ads are not working is because you're making this simple mistake. I'm going to show you exactly what that mistake is right now. Now, how do I know that you're making this mistake? It's because I work with literally hundreds of KDP publishers, and they're all making the same Amazon ads mistake. I don't know why. I don't know who taught you this. I don't know where you got this information from, but it seems like everyone is making the same exact mistake. Now, let's say you just run a campaign for your Amazon ads. We're going to say that we're going to give this campaign $100. By the way, if you don't know anything about Amazon ads, this might not make sense for you, but if you have run campaigns before and you've gathered data and all of that, this will make sense. And you're going to see exactly what the mistakes you're making with your campaign. So let's say we run a campaign and we give it $100. This campaign is going to be a keyword campaign, and we're going to have all our keywords that we want to target so we can rank our book, make more sales, and actually make money with KDP. Now, let's say we're going to do a how to draw book. So we're going to have a how to draw book, but here's the thing. This how to draw book is for kids, but you're going to have keywords that are how to draw for kids. Then you're going to have a bunch of other keywords, which are like how to draw for boys. So how to draw for boys ages 8, how to draw for boys ages 8 to 10, easy how to draw book for boys. Just a bunch of keywords for boys. And then you're going to have a bunch of keywords for girls maybe. And then you don't really know which one of these is actually going to work. You don't know which one's more effective for your book. So what do? You say, okay, well, let's separate the keywords for kids and let's separate them for boys and for girls. So here's what we're going to do. Once you run a campaign, you can basically create something called an ad group. So if your campaign is a big folder with everything inside it, you can separate these into ad groups. So here you're going to have one ad group, which is a smaller folder within this folder. And inside these ad groups, you can put your appropriate keywords. So one of it was for kids. So in here, we're going to have all the for kids keywords. And in here, we're going to have all the for boys and for girls keywords. This way, whichever one works better, Amazon's going to start allocating more money towards it. But this is a terrible idea. You never, ever, ever want to have 2 ad groups inside a campaign. Why is that? Well, by you having 2 ad groups inside one campaign, you're basically telling Amazon, I don't care about my $100 a day. I'm going to give you $100 a day, spread it however you want. I don't care if you give money to this keywords. I don't care if you give money to these keywords. You can do whatever you want. That's basically what you're telling Amazon if you put 2 ad groups inside a campaign. Now, you might not actually have 2 ad groups inside a campaign. Very few people actually have multiple ad groups inside a campaign. So let's just say that you didn't do the mistake of 2 ad groups. You only had 1 ad group because you don't ever, ever, ever want to have 2 ad groups. You're basically giving Amazon all the permission to waste your money. It's better to have 2 separate campaigns and have ad groups instead of 1 campaign with 2 ad groups. So you don't want 1 campaign, 2 ad groups. You want 2 campaigns, 1 ad group each. That way you have more control over the money you're spending and more control over where the money is going, to what ad group, how much you're spending, what keywords they are, everything. You have 10 times more control. If you have multiple ad groups in a campaign, you're going to be wasting money. You're not going to be allocating your money correctly. Your ads are not going to be as effective. So let's say you fix that mistake and you only have 1 ad group. Great. Now what? Well, inside this ad group, we get to pick which format we're going to pick. So we don't know which format is going to sell the most. So here's what people do. You probably have your ebook and you have your paperback. If you're a G, then you might have a hardcover version of your book as well. So great. Now you gave Amazon $100 a day for this campaign. Amazon is spending this money towards 1 ad group, so you know exactly where this money is going. You're not separating it, but you're putting an ebook, a paperback, and a hardcover inside the same ad group. This is a terrible thing to do. Let me explain why. So your ebook has its own ASIN, correct? Correct. Your paperback has a different ASIN. If you don't know what ASIN is simply the number that's associated with your book. It's like a code, an Amazon code for your book. And your hardcover has a different ASIN. Well, each ASIN has its own data. So the ebook version of this ASIN, so the ebook version of your book has its own data, has its own sales data, own indexing data, own ranking data. The paperback version has different set of data, and the hardcover version has a different set of data. So if I'm trying to rank for the keyword how to draw for boys, this is the keyword I want to rank for. If I run this keyword for these 3, if my paperback is already ranking number 2, Guess what Amazon's going to do? Since this paperback is already ranking, it's already doing well, it's already high in the search results, you're getting sales and you already have data on this book, Amazon's going to take all your money and push it all towards your paperback. That means your hardcover is barely getting any money. Why? Because it has no data on your hardcover. If your ebook isn't selling all that great, or you haven't made a lot of sales, great. It doesn't have any data for your ebook, so it's not going to start pushing money to your ebook. Now with Amazon ads, the most important thing is for you to have complete control. The more control you have, you know exactly where your money is going. The worst thing you can do is just let Amazon make all the decisions for you. That's like going to McDonald's and saying, oh, just give me a burger. The person's going to ask you, okay, what type of burger do you want? Do you want a burger with meat in? Do you want a vegetarian burger? Do you want a fish burger? What burger do you want? And you're there saying, I just want a burger. Just give me a burger. They give you a burger with fish and you're like, I don't want this burger. It's got fish in it, it's not a burger. Don't know if that makes any sense, but it makes sense in my mind. So you don't want to mix all your formats in the same ad group, because then Amazon is not going to allocate your money correctly. You're giving up control of your money. So there's two things that you can do. The first thing is to only have one format inside your ad group and then just have multiple campaigns for each format. So I'm going to have one campaign with one ad group and only the ebook, then another campaign with one ad group, only the paperback, and then another campaign, one ad group, only the hardcover. Why? Because that way I know exactly where my money is going. When I want to start allocating more money to the hardcover because it's selling, great. It's so much easier to do it in the campaign if they're separated. If they're together, how am I going to tell Amazon, yo, Amazon, spend more money on the hardcover? Don't spend a lot of money on the ebook because it's not working. You can't do it. You're going to be forced to pause it anyway, because it's going to be wasting you money. And I know you know I'm right, because if you have a campaign with multiple formats inside your ad group, you can go inside and see one of them is making way more sales, getting way more clicks than all the other ones, because this is how it works. It will go to the one that has the most amount of data. You want to separate them. Don't keep them all in the same campaign or the same ad group. It makes zero sense. They each have their own data, so you don't want to mix and match. So great, we have our campaign, then we have one ad group inside that campaign, and in that ad group, we're only targeting our paperback, because let's say that's our strongest one. If you're a romance author and then you see that the ebooks are selling way more, great. You might want to target only your ebook. If you have a big budget, you might want to separate the campaigns and see which format works better. There's so many different ways you can go around this. But you don't want to mix all your formats under one ad group. You want to keep it as clean as possible. So then what do most people do? Well, here's what they do. Let's say we have a set of 6 keywords. Keyword 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. These are the keywords that we have. Well, here's the thing. We have 3 match types that we can implement in our ads to see which one works best. We have exact match, we have phrase match, and we have broad match. Which one are we going to test? Well, Barry, we should test all of them to see which one's going to work the best. Perfect. That's great. Some very, very good advice. We should test all of them because we don't know what's going to work best. We're not psychic. We can't see inside the Amazon algorithm. We have no idea. We have to test it. We have to give it money to see which one works best. Now, new publishers or inexperienced publishers are going to hear this and say, well, that's great. That means I'm going to put all my keywords inside here. I'm going to have exact match, keyword 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then I want to have phrase match, same keywords, but everything was set in phrase match, and the same keywords, everything set in broad match. Now here's the thing, this one campaign with the one ad group, with the one format is going to spread out into 6, 12, 18 keywords. There's going to be 18 keywords inside this campaign with 3 different match types. This is probably the worst thing you could possibly do. And so many people do this. So many people do this. I've worked with hundreds of people and almost all of them have made this mistake. They're mixing broad match with exact match with phrase match, all inside the same campaign. Now, when you're new, I understand it because you don't know what's going to work and you want to test it out and you don't want to overwhelm yourself with a bunch of campaigns. So you just mush them all together and hopefully it works. You basically cross your fingers that it's going to work. But here's the thing. Here's exactly what happens behind the scenes, because this is the thing that most of these KDP gurus are not going to tell you. So exact, phrase, and broad actually have their own little algorithm, or the way they look at the words to figure out where to put your book, in which positioning and how to rank your book. They have their own algorithm. So let's say the exact match words, this is what it looks like. I'm going to draw it blue inside. Okay, the phrase match are going to be these line ones, and the broad match is just going to be an empty circle. So these are the 3 ways, the 3 little algorithms that Amazon has to figure out where to put your keywords. If you have one campaign, one ad group one product. And then when it comes to the keywords, Amazon's like, okay, well, I have keyword 1 and I have to figure out the exact match version of keyword 1, the phrase match version of keyword 1, and the broad match version of keyword 1. That's basically like a waiter trying to have 3 trays for 3 different tables. It might be like the waiter might be able to carry 2 trays, but they can't carry a 3rd one. And I know some of the waiters put it here and they have like little plates and everything, and they're gangsters and they know exactly what they're doing. They know how to balance everything on their hands, but they can only carry 2 trays at the same time. You're basically telling Amazon, I want you to carry 3 trays at the same time and go out and serve the people. Well, even if they're carrying the 3 trays, how are they going to put it all on the table? They can't. You're giving Amazon so much. You're confusing Amazon. Amazon has no idea what they're doing, because here's what it looks like to Amazon. You have this keyword here, and then this keyword here, but a different algorithm. This keyword here, different algorithm. This keyword here, different algorithm. This keyword here, different algorithm, different. And you just have a bunch of different keywords with different algorithms attached to them. I don't know if algorithms is the correct word, but different ways of figuring out where to put your keywords. You don't want to mush them all together. Instead, what you want to do is pick your keywords and pick one match type. Doesn't matter which one it is. Pick one match type and stick with that. So let's say we're going to do a broad match. Great. We're going to have our 6 keywords, keyword 1, keyword 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All these keywords, all these 6 keywords are going to be set only in broad match. And then great. That's it. That's how we create a campaign. So now, if I give $100 to this campaign, guess where that $100 is going to go? You don't even have to guess. You know exactly where it's going. Just from looking at the campaign. You know that it's going to this one ad group. It's not getting split. It's not getting separated. I'm not giving Amazon any control over where it's spending my money. Then I'm telling Amazon you have no other choice but to spend it all for my paperback. And then I'm telling Amazon you have no other choice but to spend it on these 6 keywords, all of them in broad match. So Amazon only has one algorithm to look at. It's all going to be like this for Amazon. And because they're all the same algorithm, it can start to pick up. It can start to learn from the campaign. Because Amazon ad campaigns have its own mind. They can look at previous data. They get better over time. They learn based on previous data. If you're giving Amazon 2 or 3 different ad groups and then 3 different formats and then 3 different match types, Amazon has no clue what's happening. But if you give Amazon a clear-cut instruction, a super simple funnel to go to, the money's going to get allocated correctly. And guess what you're going to do now? Now you can do another campaign with a different ad group. Again, the paperback. And then this time you're going to have the same keywords that you put here, but they're going to be set to phrase match. So what's that going to do? If I have $100 to spend a day, great. I can spend 50 on this campaign and then 50 on this campaign. These are going to be even campaigns. I know exactly where my money is going here. I know exactly where my money is going here. So if I have the same bids for these, let's say all my bids are 120 for each keyword, and all my bids are 120 for this. Then I let it run for a week, and then I see if you like to measure with ACOS, then we'll just go with ACOS. I never measure with ACOS, but I know a bunch of people like to measure with ACOS. So for you to understand, let's just say this campaign gave us an 80% ACOS and 20 sales, and this campaign got us 52 sales at a 64% ACOS. Which one works better for your book? Phrase match or broad match? Obviously, phrase match. How do you know? It doesn't have any other, it's clear. It's so easy to see. Straight from the campaign view. But guess what? If you have a campaign and then you have 2 ad groups, and then in the ad groups you have 3 different formats, and then in those 3 different formats you have 3 different match types for each one, and then this campaign gives you a 87% ACOS. You don't even know what's working and what's not working. You don't know how to fix it. It's so complicated. The structure is so complicated to go in and fix it and optimize it. You're basically making it as hard as possible for yourself to organize your campaigns, to clearly see what's working and what's not working. So if you want to fix your Amazon ads, you must be super crystal clear with the campaigns you're making. You want to make it as easy as possible for Amazon to understand where to allocate the money, specifically where to allocate the money. So only for the paperback, only in broad match. And then you want to separate your campaigns, because if you separate your campaigns, you have more control. If you have more control, you can optimize better. And then later on, when you're making a bunch of sales, optimization is key. Even if you have a super successful book, if your Amazon ads are messy, then later on when you want to optimize your ads, it's going to be so difficult. I have so many clients come up to me and they're making thousands of dollars a month, but their Amazon ads aren't as good as they want them to be. But guess what? Their ads are extremely messy. This is what their ads look like. I'll show you now. So they come up to me and they show me their campaign. This campaign will have 120% ACOS. And they say, Barry, can you please fix it for me? And I look at the campaign and I see one campaign with 2 ad groups. So they give $20 a day to this campaign. Then what I realized is that this campaign over here is spending $15. This ad group over here is spending $15 and this one's spending $5. And I'm seeing, okay, well, Amazon is splitting your money, so you already lost control of your money. Then this money over here, $15, we're going to see that $3 will go to the ebook and then $12 will go to the paperback. So great. Now it's split the money again. And then from the $12 from the paperback, the exact match might get $2, broad match will get $10, and then phrase match will get $0. Well, great. Now it's splitting the money again. So all this money, you have zero control over it. And they're saying, well, my campaign is 120%. What's wrong with it? And it's so hard for me to say everything is wrong with it. They say, can you fix it? I mean, what am I supposed to fix? Everything is just a big mess. It's the least organized campaign possible. You're giving up all control to Amazon. And when you give control to Amazon, they just spend your money and you end up with super high ACOS, not a lot of sales, and just you're constantly wasting money month after month. So the biggest piece of advice I can give you when it comes to Amazon ads, keep your campaigns organized. I think I missed the D. Keep your campaigns organized. That's it. You must be able to see from the campaign exactly what is that you need to know yourself. If you keep all your campaigns organized, everything's separated, it doesn't matter if you have a high budget or a low budget. It doesn't matter if you're doing $3 a day or if you're doing thousands of dollars a day. Keep them organized, because then later on, when you want to fix your ads, eliminate what's not working and amplify what's already working, you want to scale, then you won't be able to do it if it's messy like this. How am I supposed to control where the money is going? Like this. You can't. It's very hard for you to make money with your Amazon ads when it looks like this. But do you know what's easy? When it looks like this. Campaign, ad group, format, keyword with only one match type. That's it. If I see that this campaign is working and it's got 25% ACOS, guess what? I just go straight to the end, right here, increase the bid. Perfect. Increase the budget. Perfect. I increase the budget, increase the bid. I'm getting shown more for what's already working. If this here is working, how am I going to scale that? I'm going to increase the bid for these. Well, great. That means this ad group has to lose money. So this $5 will have to get allocated over here. So by you increasing this, you're eliminating this. You're losing the testing of this ad group. You want to always separate everything. That's all I can say. Anyway, have a good day. Go out there, make a bunch of money on KDP. That's it. Ads are always working. Now, before you click off the video, I'm going to explain to you why first. Now, your ads can either be working and giving you a bunch of sales, or they cannot be working and basically costing you a bunch of money. Both of these are good. Whether your ads are working or not, this is both good. I'm going to tell you why. Because what's the point of ads? Why do you pay for ads? Oh, well, I pay for ads to make more money. No, that's not why you pay for ads. What are you exchanging your money for? So if I go to a coffee shop and I give money to a coffee shop, I'm getting something in return. What am I getting in return? A coffee. If I go to a car dealership and I give them money, I'm getting something in return. What am I getting in return? A car. So when it comes to Amazon ads, I'm giving Amazon ads money and I'm getting something in return. What am I getting in return? Well, what I'm getting in return is data. Data is the most important thing for your whole business. Data is what you need. So whether your ads are working or they're not working, you're still collecting data. If you spend $1,000 on ads and have a high ACOS and you don't make your money back and your book is failing miserably, great. You have the data to fix it. You have the data that tells you what's wrong with your book, what you need to fix. You have data, and data is so important because it helps you make informed decisions. The whole business is based on informed decisions. That's why we do niche research before we find the book. That's why we pay a professional designer to make a cover. That's why we pick our own keywords. That's why we price our books certain ways, because we collect data to make informed decisions to give us the highest chance of success. So here's where most publishers fail. They don't know how to read the data. They don't know what the data is telling them. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that in this video. By the end of it, you're going to know exactly what's wrong with your ads, or even better, exactly what's wrong with your book, because your ads can never fail. Your book can. So the first piece of data that you need to look at are your impressions. What are your impressions? That just basically means your book actually popped up on someone's screen. If I search for animal encyclopedia for kids and your book pops up on my screen, then you got an impression. Now, if I search the same thing and your book is on page 2, you don't get an impression unless I click on page 2 and your book actually pops up on my screen. That's an impression. So either you're getting impressions for your keywords or you're not getting impressions. If you're getting impressions, great. If you're not, then here's how to fix that problem. So there's 3 main reasons why you're not getting impressions in your ads. The first one is low bids. Now, when it comes to Amazon ads, it's an auction-based platform, which means if you bet $1 and I bet $1.20, I'm going to show up higher than you in the search results for the keyword that we're betting on. I hope that makes sense. This video is for people that already know about ads. If you don't know about ads, learn about ads and then come back to this video to learn how to read the data. So, low bids. If you guys are bidding 35 cents or 60 cents on a keyword, then to me, that's a low bid. Personally, I never bid 60 cents. Now, some of you might bid 60 cents, that's fine. Whatever works for you, works for you. Now, personally, I like to bid super high, $1, $1.20, $1.50. Why? Because if me and you are in the same niche and you're bidding 60 cents and I'm bidding $1.50, I am destroying you. You have 0 chance against me. Now, if you want to be conservative and bid a low bid, well, that's going to affect your ranking because you have a bunch of books that are competing for the same keyword. All of them are competing for the same keyword. Now, how does Amazon know which one's going to place all the way at the top and which one is going to place all the way at the bottom? Well, that depends on how high your bid is. So I'm bidding 150. Guess who's going to be at the top? Me. And you're bidding 60 cents, half my bid. Guess where you're going to be? At the bottom. Maybe one guy's in the middle bidding 85 cents, but I'm always going to be at the top. Now, 34% or 31%, something like that, it's over 30% of clicks go to the first listing. So this guy right here gets 34% of the clicks of a search term. I search how to draw animal book for kids. 30% of those clicks are going to me up here at the top because I'm bidding high. But most importantly, because I'm bidding high, I'm making sure 100% that I'm getting impressions. Why? You don't have to scroll down to find my book. That's why one of the biggest mistakes is just bidding too low. Now, if you're scared to bid 150, that's completely fine. Get your 60-cent bid and put it 5 cents higher. Wait 2 or 3 days, see if you get impressions. You didn't get impressions? Great. Put 5 cents higher. Wait 1 or 2 days. Didn't get impressions? Great. 5 cents higher. And keep going until you actually get impressions. So that's the first reason. The second reason is because you're targeting irrelevant keywords. This means you're selling a how to draw animal book for kids and you're targeting how to draw dinosaur book for adults. They're 2 completely different books, 2 completely different keywords, and you're basically telling Amazon, please show my book for this irrelevant search term. Now, Amazon knows that the more relevant your book is to the search term, the higher the book's conversion rate, which means the more money Amazon makes. So Amazon's responsibility is to only show relevant books in front of relevant shoppers. So if you're coming in your ads and you're targeting an irrelevant keyword for your book, then Amazon is not very likely to show your book. If you have a book on the history of Egypt, I can't spell Egypt, and then you're targeting a keyword that says American Revolution, then Amazon would not want to give you any impressions for it because it's most likely not going to sell. Sure, you might get 1 or 2 sales, but it's not going to sell all that great. And it's probably the reason you're not getting impressions because your keywords are irrelevant. Now, Amazon knows if your book is relevant or not based on your indexed keywords, which means these are the keywords in your description and your title and your subtitle and your backend keywords and your A+ content SEO and all the index keywords that Amazon associates your book with. So if Amazon has a list of 20 keywords all associated with Egypt, then it knows that American Revolution is probably not the niche that you're trying to publish in. It's probably not the customers that you're trying to target. So it's not going to show your book for irrelevant search terms or keywords. Now, the final reason you're getting low impressions or almost no impressions is because it's a low traffic keyword. Now, you can't expect to get impressions for something that no one is searching for. I think that's just common sense. Now, if you got a keyword and it's super relevant to your book. By the way, super relevant means super relevant. Let me explain. I had a member of our school community. He showed us all his ads for his coloring book, and he was targeting the word coloring book, and he was selling a very specific coloring book. I'm not going to say what, I'm not going to give up his niche, but if you're part of the community, you know what I'm talking about. He showed us all his ads for that book, and one of the keywords he was targeting was coloring book, and he had a super high ACOS. Why? Because it was irrelevant. Yes, it's a coloring book, but guess what? It's also a book. is also a book for kids, but those keywords are super broad, which makes them irrelevant. Now, if I'm selling specifically a dinosaur coloring book for kids, then I want to target dinosaur coloring book. Those are the keywords I want to target. I don't just want to target coloring book, because then I'm competing against hundreds of thousands of books, if not millions of coloring books. So I become irrelevant anyway. But anyway, low traffic keywords. You want to make sure people are actually searching for these keywords. Now, if I have something specific, like how to draw animal book for kids ages 6 to 8 with disabilities and hand problems, what are the chances that I'm going to get impressions for that keyword? It's way too specific, probably not a lot of traffic. Now, these are the 3 reasons why you're probably not getting impressions. But now, what about if you are getting impressions, but you're not getting clicks? This is a click. Well, what does that mean? It means people are looking at your book, but they're not clicking on it. So what is the problem with that? Well, the first point is something we already talked about, and that's being irrelevant. Exact same concept. If you have an Egypt book and you're targeting the American Revolution, and then Amazon says, okay, let's test it out and see if it's actually gonna work. And then a bunch of people are seeing your book pop up on their screen, but no one's clicking on it. It's because they're looking for American Revolution. They're not looking for an Egypt book. So your book is irrelevant to the keyword, which is why no one is clicking on it. Next point, which is probably the most likely reason you're not getting clicks. That's because you have a bad cover. If you have a bad cover, no one is attracted to it. And no one clicks on books they're not attracted to. Just like no one goes on a date with a woman they're not attracted to. Just like a woman doesn't go on a date with a guy she's not attracted to. That's when you get friend zoned. So if you don't want to get friend zoned, have a really good book cover. Now, what do I mean by this? It's very hard for me to explain design in one video or in a comment or in a short 2-minute section. I can't do that. Now, if you're part of the course, then you understand exactly what makes a professional book cover design. If you're not part of it, I'm sorry, you still can't be part of it because the doors are closed. They're not going to be opening for quite a while. So I'm sorry if you want to be part of it, but you're not part of it. There will be an opportunity, and I'll let everyone know when it opens again, because in there I share like 15 different design principles. I think it's 15. So all these design principles are going to help you make amazing covers. But right now, if you're on a dating show and then there's 10 women and you have to pick between, let's make 5 because I can't be bothered to draw 10. Let's say there's 5 women and you're only allowed to pick 2 women to go on a date with. You're going to pick this one and you're going to pick this one. Why did you not pick these 3? I'll tell you why. Because these 2 were the most attractive ones for you. They're the ones that resonate the most for you. So a good book cover is one that resonates the most with your target customer. So let me give you an example. If I'm making a princess book and there's 5 books in the niche, and this one's a pink book, and this one's a pink book, and this one's all nice and glittery, and this one has rainbows and sunshines and everything, and then this is my book, and it's black and white, and then there's boring, old, disgusting, flat illustrations with a very basic font, just the most unattractive cover, then people are not going to click on it because they have nice and colorful pink glittery options with princesses and rainbows and sunshines. Why would they click on your boring black and white, low quality, bad font book cover? You can't read the book title, you can't do anything. Terrible book cover. They won't click on it. And that's most likely why they're not clicking on it. That's most likely why you're getting impressions and not a lot of clicks, because you think your book cover is good, but it's actually not. And how do you fix it? Well, that's by learning design. I can't teach you design in this video, but if you want to learn design, there's a lot of free things out there that's definitely going to help you learn design. Now, here's the thing. Most people are going to say, oh, my book cover is already good. I know that it's good. Okay, if it's good, here's what you need to do. If you genuinely think your book cover is good, this is what you do to make sure that you have the best book cover. You're going to take your best-selling competitors. You're going to download their book covers and you're going to put it in one piece of paper or a Photoshop document or a Canva document or whatever you want. Just have one file, one image, and there's going to be 5 of your competitors, your best-selling competitors. Then put your book cover in that line of 5. So there's going to be 6 covers in total. One of them is going to be yours. Put it anywhere in the list and then do not tell anyone which one your book cover is. Go to as many people as you know. Tell them to pick the 2 best ones. If you want to be risky, tell them to pick the 3 best ones. Do not tell them which one your one is. And if your one gets picked almost every time, then it's a good book cover. If it doesn't, then great. Now you know to go back and change it and actually fix your ads by fixing your book cover. Now, why do I tell you to do this? Because that gives you data, just like we talked about. And data helps you make informed decisions. You're going to have data on which book cover looks the best. Now, the third reason is actually not that important. The book cover is the most important reason. But the third reason is reviews. Sometimes people just don't click on books that don't have any reviews or have low reviews. Because if you have a bunch of competitors all showing up in the search result, and this guy has 100 reviews, this guy has 70, this guy has 2,000 reviews, 150, and then you have 7 reviews, then people are like, this is the lowest quality book, I'll just click on these ones. I don't trust this one enough yet. So keep gathering reviews. Now there's one final problem that you might have with your ads. I'm gonna show you how to fix that one as well now. I know I sound a little bit mean in this video, I sound like I'm shouting, but I just don't want you guys to lose a bunch of money. Trust me, I lost a lot of money on ads. Anyway, last one is you actually getting clicks, but no sales. So you're basically losing money. If you're getting a bunch of clicks, that means you're spending money on ads. But then if you're not getting sales, that means you're not making the money back, which is where most of your problems come. You're spending a lot on ads, but you're not getting the money back. Now, why is this? Well, super simple. If you're getting a click, then you know that as soon as someone clicks on your book, this is what they're gonna see. They're gonna see the whole page and they're gonna see your book cover, your title, and your subtitle. Then they're gonna see your description. I'm gonna put this as your description. Then here is gonna be your price. Then down here is gonna be your A+ content. And then down here are gonna be your reviews. Reviews. Try to put A+ content. These are the only thing. And also here you have a read sample. So you know that you're getting the click and this is the page that they see. This is your book sales page. Now, the reason you're not making money is because either one or all of these things are turning the customer away. So you have to take each of them one by one. The first thing is your book cover. Your book cover already gained the click, so it's probably good. So let's ignore the book cover for now. We're gonna ignore the title because again, you can see that before the click. So if you got the click, you don't have to think about your book cover. You don't have to think about your title, but you do have to think about everything else. So first of all is your price. If your price is too high and you don't have the reviews to justify it or the value to justify the high price, then people are gonna scroll down, see a bunch of characters of your competitors at a lower price and just get the lower price book. Now, if you haven't watched the pricing strategy video, I'm gonna leave a little eye thing popped up on your screen right now. Click that, it's gonna take you through the pricing strategy video. So you wanna have the correct price. If you have the correct price, then great. You can actually look at the things that are important. Now, first of all is your description. Your description is not the most important thing for increasing your conversion rate, but it's still important. So you need to make sure it looks good. No one really reads the description. They're gonna skim it. They're gonna go over the bullet points. They're gonna go over the bold points. So just make sure you have a nice readable description, all the features and benefits of your book. Make sure you have bullet points and make sure you have bold points and italic points and underline. Make sure it looks nice. Make sure it looks skimmable. Now, this is where it gets super interesting. This is your A+ content. This can be one of the main reasons that your book is not selling. Now, there's 2 parts of an A+ content. First of all, you have design. Now, when it comes to design, you want to make sure that it's actually pleasing to look at, that the fonts match with your book cover, and the background looks good. There's hierarchy. You can control your viewers' eyes. You want to make sure the design is super, super effective. Now, again, it's difficult for me to explain what makes a good A+ content design and what doesn't without me giving you a 2-hour full video. But if you go out and study design, you're going to start to see things that don't look good with your A+ content. Or again, you can test it out with your competitors' A+ content, go out, give it to a bunch of people and see which A+ content looks the best. Now, the second element of a good A+ content, which is actually the most important one, is your copywriting. What's your copywriting? Copywriting are the words that you use to convey the value of your book. The A+ content is going to give the reader the information that they need to understand the value of your book. If you're selling a cookbook and you're like, oh, this cookbook has recipes. Yes, recipes are nice. Oh, it tastes so good. That's really bad A+ content. But if you can understand copywriting and understand how to convey the value of your book the most effective way, then that's going to increase your conversion rate, which is going to increase the amount of sales you make for every click that you get. So your A+ content needs to be designed as best as possible and also implement copywriting as best as possible to show the value of your book. Now, finally is your reviews. You want to have as many reviews as possible. You want a super high review count. You should never stop getting reviews because the more reviews you have, the more trust you have in your book. If you come to me and you say, Barry, I'm running ads, I'm getting clicks, but I'm not getting sales, and I ask you, how many reviews do you have? And you say 10, then I'm sorry, I don't know how I'm going to help you. If you say 50, then I'm like, oh, great. Yeah, maybe we can do something. Maybe it's your A+ content the problem. Maybe it's something else. But if you have under 50 reviews, keep going, keep getting reviews. They're going to help you. I've tested this, and I've tested the same book with 20 reviews versus the same book with 80 reviews. At 80 reviews, I was flying up the rankings. Amazon ads was working perfectly. At 20 reviews, everything just plateaued. Everything started going downhill. I changed nothing. A+ content was perfect. Book cover was perfect. Everything was amazing. But the reviews are what held me back. So reviews are super important. Keep collecting reviews because they're going to give you trust. And if you have trust, then people buy. And if people buy, you actually make sales and you make your money back. You're not just spending money on clicks and not getting sales. Now, a little tip I'm going to give you for reviews. If you can get someone to leave an image review or a video review, that's going to increase your conversion rate dramatically. Because if you have an image of your book in a review, then it makes your book seem more real. Again, if you have a video, it makes it seem even more real, which is amazing. It's going to give you the conversion rate that you need. Now, the final thing is your read sample. Your read sample shows the people what's inside your book. It's probably the last thing they're going to see. Once they see that the reviews are good and your A+ content looks good and the price matches with what they want to pay, then they're going to go inside to see what your book actually looks like. If your formatting is really bad, they're not going to buy your book. If your formatting is all over the place, or if you're selling a cookbook and it's black and white, it might turn a lot of people off. You want professional formatting inside. You want it to be nice and organized and clean. You want the table of contents to be nice and engaging. You want the writing to be good. That's what they're looking at in the read sample. They're trying to see, is this product actually good? Am I going to enjoy reading this book? Am I going to buy it and just waste my money? So that's how you fix your ads. But here's the thing. The biggest thing that everyone tells me is, Barry, I have a high ACOS. I'm going to show you what this actually means. And I'm going to show you exactly how to fix a high ACOS. So what is a high ACOS? A high ACOS is basically what we just talked about now. It's getting a bunch of clicks and no sales, which I showed you how to fix. But I want to show you one last thing. Now, high ACOS basically means low conversion rate. Anytime you say high ACOS, all I hear is low conversion rate. And that's what you should hear as well. If you have a high ACOS, it doesn't mean you have a high ACOS. It means you have a low conversion rate. I want to show you what I mean. Let's say I'm bidding 120 for every click and I get 10 clicks, and every 10 clicks, I actually get a sale. And my book costs $12. I'm going to put it here. Book price is $12.99. Oh no, we're going to do it 12 because it's easier for the math. So I'm going to do it 12. And my conversion rate is 10%. So this is the cost per click, how much I'm betting for each click. And this is how many clicks I need to get a sale. That's going to give me an ACOS of 100% because that means I spend $12, 12 times 10, $12. And then my book price is $12. So I got 100% ACOS. Now, what happens if this exact same book has a 20% ACOS, which is completely doable, by the way? You can easily get 17, 18%. But what happens if my book is a 20% ACOS? Well, the exact same thing is going to happen. I'm going to bet the exact same amount, get the exact same clicks, but my ACOS is 50%. Why? Because with this one, I made back $12, which is the price of one book, but with 20%, at 10 clicks, 20% of 10 is 2. I made 2 sales, which means I made back $24, which is why my ACOS halved. But my ACOS dropped because my conversion rate increased. If you have a high ACOS, it just means you have a low conversion rate. It just means increase your conversion rate. Now, everything I talked about in this video applies for your high ACOS. If you have an irrelevant keyword and people are clicking on your book from that irrelevant keyword and then realizing that this is not the book they're looking for, you're going to have a high ACOS. If you have a really good book cover, but you have no reviews and bad A+ content, people are going to be clicking on your book, but not buying it. You're going to have a high ACOS. So a high ACOS just means low conversion rate. Increase your conversion rate, make sure you have the best book cover, and keep collecting reviews. That's how you're going to fix your ads. It's not about some secret strategies in your ads. It's all about your book. The only reason that you run ads to your book is because Amazon ads, you pay for traffic. You pay for people to see your book. Now, whether they click on it or whether they buy it is not up to Amazon. It's purely up to you. It's purely if you created a book that's actually good enough for them to buy. That's the reason you run ads, because you already have a good book that people want to buy, and Amazon ads helps you bring even more people to that to scale your business. Amazon ads is not going to bring you magic sales or magic people. People are real. People actually click on your book. People actually buy your book. You're selling to real people. So I hope this video was helpful. I know it was a long video, but if you want to find out more about how to scale your KDP business, then click on the video that just popped up on the whiteboard. It's going to help you a lot with making way more money on KDP.